This president is indeed compromised, and it further leads me to believe that there will be an impeachment inquiry before the next election.
That's what Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna told Fox as Devin Archer gets ready today to talk to the House Oversight Committee in private. He's a friend of Hunter Biden's, who is also on the board of the Burisma Ukrainian energy company.
The New York Post reports Archer is expected to testify that Hunter Biden would introduce his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to foreign business partners or possible investors during meetings. The Oversight Committee has been investigating the Biden family to determine if the president was ever paid by a foreign national in exchange for policy decisions while he was vice president.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Biden has said he never spoke to his son about his business dealings. Carlos de Oliveira goes to federal court today in Miami. He's the property manager of the Trump Florida resort, now caught up in the classified documents case.
The allegation that the former president asked that a Mar-a-Lago staffer erase surveillance footage relating to classified documents he possessed brought the new charge.
And Fox's Gernal Scott de Oliveira is charged with conspiracy to obstruct and lying to investigators. The former president's already pleaded not guilty and claims he's a political target, calling it election interference. Russia has bombed another apartment building in its war on Ukraine in the city of Kryvyi Rih, President Zelensky's hometown. At least one person's dead. Others feared trapped in the rubble. It's up to at least 54 people dead in Pakistan after a suicide bombing targeting a political rally. A shipper has stopped shipping.
One of the nation's oldest and biggest trucking businesses, Yellow, has notified customers and employees that it is ceasing all operations.
That's Fox's Jenny Casola. Yellow was in financial trouble and in a contract dispute with the Teamsters. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
An Idaho mother learns her fate today for the murder of her two youngest children in a case that's gotten national attention.
Lori Vallow Daybell, the so-called doomsday mom, faces up to life in prison when she's sentenced for the deaths of her son, J.J. Vallow, and her daughter, Tylee Ryan, as well as conspiring to murder her husband, Chad Daybell's former wife, Tammy Daybell. The kids' bodies were found on her husband's property, and his trial is set for next year. Family members are due to give impact statements during the sentencing. During the weeks-long trial, information came out about the doomsday cult beliefs of Vallow and her husband. Texts between the two spoke about demons, quote, possessing the kids, as well as calling them zombies. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
There's a manhunt in North Carolina for whoever drove an SUV into a group of migrant workers.
The 6 migrant workers were struck and injured Sunday afternoon outside a Walmart in Lincolnton, North Carolina. An act police say was intentional. Lincolnton's about 40 miles from Charlotte. The workers all transported to the hospital with what's described as non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect is still at large. Police say they're looking for the driver, described as an older white male who was driving an older model black SUV with a luggage rack. Police releasing surveillance video asking the public's help in finding the driver. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could rise to start the week. Futures are up modestly, coming off gains for the Dow and the NASDAQ last week. The price of oil is going up. Gas is 16 cents higher today than it was a week ago. Barbie is still queen of the box office.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever.
The Barbie movie, number one a second straight weekend, taking in another $93 million. Oppenheimer second again with a $46 million weekend. The Haunted Mansion debuted third. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. I'm Jim Miller. Illinois Secretary of State launching a Skip the Line program at certain DMVs September 1st. Customers required to make appointments for in-person visits at 44 of the busiest DMVs for those seeking real ID, driver's license, and ID card services, and in-car driving tests. Authorities identifying the deceased driver of a stolen car involved in a crash that also killed 2 Paxton teens last month in Vermilion County. The coroner says Moises Concepcion Roman slammed into the victim's car on State Route 49 in Rankin. Concepcion Roman, 19-year-old Joseph Stallone, and 17-year-old Keegan Martinic all died in that crash, police investigating. Public squirrel hunting opportunities available starting this week. Hunting begins August 1st, runs through September 15. The IDNR has leased more than 4,400 acres of private land for this year's squirrel hunting, creating more than 30 public access squirrel sites in 18 counties. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hey, good morning. Monday, last day of the 7th month, the ESPN 93.5. Morning, Diane Ducey.
Morning, Stevie.
Weather brought to you by Busey for over 150 years. Busey, member FDIC. Looks like some pretty mild weather. I might even be able to take a leap, Mr. Meteorologist Greg Solier. We might be past the hottest days of 2023.
What?
Yeah, you know, from a climatological standpoint, you are absolutely correct about that, sir. The averages slowly begin to come down here as we move just beyond the first week to 10 days, in particular the new month of August. Yeah, knocking on the door of that here, beginning tomorrow. And if you want to talk a little longer range, at least into the first half, maybe 3/4, there are some significantly cooler days ahead. Yeah, that's maybe good news with cooling and air conditioning consumption and all that. Then that brings up another issue, trying to get the back 40 to maturity around here. So there may be a little lacking and slowing of growing degree day units, but at the same time, no added stress on strain on already what we've been dealt with around here. And there's certainly some wetter trends beginning to show up just beyond the first few days, first week or so of the month of August. And historically over the Midwest, because the steering currents tend to be a little weaker up aloft, sometimes that generates the more substantial record-setting rainfall over parts of the Midwest, at least based on past climatology. So something to think about here at the water cooler for the day today. 67 now, Willard and Savoy. 63 Danville, 66 Rantoul. Yeah, the humidity is down nice and comfortable. Sunshine, 83 for the day today. There's some showers and thunderstorms in western Iowa, but they're heading to the southeast away from us. We'll have a little high-level cloud cirrus near us later on today, up ahead as well for tonight with a low down to 59, sunny and 84 tomorrow. Those clouds will increase tomorrow night with a low down to 62 and approaching warm front, but we won't get into the hot weather. The hot ridge is collapsing here in the days to come. 83 on Wednesday with a stray shower thunderstorm late morning and late afternoon. Slightly better odds on Thursday at 87. Seasonal warmth Friday and Saturday with upper 80s other than a shower on Sunday. We're dry for the weekend and back in the lower 80s and lower humidity as well for the beginning part of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you're looking for a pre-owned car, truck, or van, look no further than Sarah Champagne. You know them for their 5 incredible vehicle brands, the BMW, Honda, Subaru, Buick, and GMC. But did you know they also have over 100 used cars, trucks, and vans in stock right now? And at Sarah Champagne, they will take care of you. You can trust them. And prices begin at under $2,000. Stop by Sarah Champagne. They're at Burwash and Savoy, or go online, sarahchampagne.com. That's Sarah, S-E-R CRRA Champagne.com.
Join the Champagne Parks Foundation for a fun evening of food, socializing, and entertainment at the iHotel and Conference Center with Champagne Park District Youth Scholarship Fund to benefit from the new Ties and Tennies Gala. It's coming up on Thursday, September 14th, and you'll enjoy dueling pianos, a plated dinner, complimentary wine and beer, live and silent auction, and featured speaker Team USA Paralympian sitting volleyball player Nicole Millage. Learn more details. Visit champagneparks.org.
It's Emily Atkins. She owns something called Happy Healing. Tell me about what you have planned coming up.
September 9th, we have our spiritual spa day. We have 3 wellness practitioners coming. We have Brenda, who does sound bowl healings with crystal bowls, Drea, who does facials, and we have Emily, who does massages. So we'll be selling tickets, and so you'll have a half hour of each, and then I'll be there and we can make candles too. You can go to the website, happyhealing.us.
All right, well, good morning. The Cardinals are going to be moving, and they already have. They've made 2 trades, one with Toronto. So Jordan Hicks is no longer with the St. Louis Cardinals, and you're saying, well, it's hard to get a 104-mile-an-hour fastball in the major leagues, and that's true. But they apparently could not extend him. He's a free agent after the season. And so they traded him to Toronto, and we got prospects. We had 2 prospects. I think Toronto, I think, was an infielder and a pitcher, I think. And then Jordan Montgomery will go to Texas, and Texas is trying to hold off Houston. And nobody wants Houston because they're cheaters. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. They cheated.
Bang the trash cans during the pitches.
Had all kinds of cheating because they knew the pitch is coming. Stevie J might get a hit if I know the pitch that's coming. Come on, man. Anyway, so it's Texas getting Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton, who's a journeyman. He's been around the league, but he was very effective for the Cardinals this year. And I find that relievers are really good and then they're really bad. So it's just really hard to predict. Cardinals get, I think, 2 pitching prospects for that. So it's all a bunch of 21-year-olds. Cardinals planning on, and some of the stats I looked up for the minor league guys they got, okay, nothing spectacular. So here's hoping their scouting is in good shape. So 3 Cardinals already off the team. The Cubs said yesterday they were not trading, doing anything with Cody Bellinger, which has been the real spark plug for the Cards winning 8 in a row until yesterday. So I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to touch Atlanta anyway. It's good to go for it because I sure would if it was my team. But it's going to be tough for the Cubbies to get in there because it's pretty competitive for that wild card. Not to say the Cubs can't win the division because it's a very, very winnable division. Milwaukee had to play Atlanta. I don't know if they came close to beating Atlanta over the weekend. So Cincinnati is now in first place. And they'll be in Wrigley Field, Chicago at the friendly confines tonight. Taking on the Cubs, see if the Cubbies can inch closer. I think the Cubs are 3.5 back a wild card, maybe 4 out in the Central. So the Cubs are definitely having this season as far as the Cubs and Cardinals are concerned. Cardinals lose 3 out of 4 to the Cubs. Fortunate to beat Kyle Hendricks yesterday. Kyle's owned them. He is Aaron Rodgers owned them, and Cardinals beat them yesterday. So you got lots more happening today. The trade deadline, I believe, is tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
That sounds right.
So and I'm thinking, okay, so the Cardinals need pitching, and we just traded 3 pitchers.
Right.
Pitchers, we must have some AAA guys we're going to bring up and give another shot to, so I don't know. But definitely pitching is the concern. Nolan Arenado is not being traded. There was a ton of rumors about that. He was purportedly being wooed by the L.A. Dodgers. Dodgers, of course, Nolan Arenado is from Southern California, and he would have waived his no-trade clause. That's the word we get. However, that's not going to happen. We want to keep Nolan Arenado at third base. Cardinals apparently wanted 4 top prospects in pitching, and the Dodgers, I think, said no. So that's what I know about the Cardinals and the trade deadline. The Cardinals are indeed sellers in a tough season for St. Louis. They win yesterday. John Rooney and Ricky Horton were there.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and the Cardinals got on the board early. They scored 3 runs on 6 hits over the first 2 innings against a pitcher who had handcuffed them so many times, and the Cardinals beat Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs 3-0.
Hendricks came into the game 13-3 lifetime against the Cardinals, but they were able to get to him. They got to him early, a lot of hits. They were aggressive on the base paths, and Steven Matz was outstanding in his start, picking up his second win. Gallegos and Romero also pitched well.
The pitch count was getting up there for Matz, but he was able to give the Cardinals 6 innings, Gallegos 2 very good innings, and JoJo Romero picked up save number 1.
They all battled a tough Cubs lineup that has been red hot.
The Cardinals will have a day off today and welcome in the Minnesota Twins tomorrow. The Twins will start Pablo Lopez. He's 5 up and 6 down. We'll be on the air at 5:50, and we'll have our first pitch at 6:45 as the Cardinals welcome in the Twins from the American League. It was the Cardinals 3-0 over the Cubs yesterday. The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
So I just pulled up a story about the Texas Rangers and St. Louis Cardinals agreed to a 5-player trade built around left-hander starter Jordan Montgomery. The Rangers also receive right-hander reliever Chris Stratton, while the Cardinals gain left-hander John King, right-hander Tekoa Robbie, and infielder Thomas Segasi. Anyway, the teams have announced the trade on Sunday afternoon. Jordan Montgomery is 30 and impending free agency, and was arguably the best starting pitcher remaining on the market. I guess that's a good deal.
No, I don't. I have no idea. It's like Brett Bielema getting this 3-star guy out of Mount Carmel. I don't know.
Right.
It's going to take about 3 years to know if that's any good.
Okay.
I mean, so it's just these things are. It's not like you're getting a proven pro. The Cardinals are doing this to get better later. This is totally a play for later. And sometimes it works out well, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean,
and Texas acquired Matt Scherzer from the New York Mets
that's a big
Saturday.
That's a big move.
Uh-huh.
Matt Scherzer immediately said, "Yes, I'll take my player option next year because they're going to have to pay him $1 zillion." He's 40? Originally from St. Louis. A shame they never got together.
That's right.
But no, he's still got some juice in him, I believe.
Cleveland over the Chicago White Sox. That final was 5-0. Not sure if you caught any golf, but looks like Lee Hodges won the 3M, and Alex Jacob the Senior Tour. So also, I just don't have much more than the baseball.
All there is. All we need to know now
golf.
is 32 days till Illinois plays football.
That's right.
And we got all kinds of stuff happening on the University of Illinois campus beginning in a week.
And we're really in the last stretch in case you want tickets to get the good deal inside the next week, because then tickets prices, from what I understand, will go up a little bit.
They'll go up as long as we keep winning, but then they'll go back down because that's just how the market is. Right now, they've got 10,000 new season ticket holders. And that sounds like a lot to me. I mean, we've had sales at 30,000 tickets and the turnstile at 11,000 for like the Northwestern end of year games in the past few years. So we haven't had a whole lot of people show up later, but in the Brett Bielema era, Brett Bielema was 9-9 in the Big Ten after 2 years. Has any Illinois coach ever done that? I don't think so.
That's good out of the gate.
Weather brought to you by Urbana Park District.
And they remind you they've got all kinds of fall programs to tap into. And coming up on Saturday is Crystal Lake Park's Art Fair from 10 to 4. If you want to check out more details, it's at urbanaparks.org.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, Van Avis, Saturday, and a pretty quiet, comfortable start to the weekend, rounding out this month of July and beginning part of August. No real extreme heat nor humidity, nor excessively wet weather on the maps and charts. Matter of fact, a short-term drying spell and drier spell. But as we get deeper into the new month of August, cooler days are ahead and wetter days are ahead as well. So no sign of reestablishing the heat wave weather pattern really anywhere across the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois included. Sunshine for the day today. Light northeast wind, 83 this afternoon. Clear comfortable tonight, 59. Sunny for the day tomorrow, seasonal and 84 on a light east wind. Clouds gather tomorrow night, low down at 62. Partly sunny. There may be a stray shower thunderstorm cropping up late morning and afternoon on Wednesday. A little more humidity in the air. The high about 83. A couple of showers and thunderstorms Thursday at 87. Upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. Low to mid 80s for the weekend. A chance for a shower on Sunday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Ford is recalling more than 870,000 F-150 trucks with a single exhaust system. The company says a possible issue with the rear axle housing could cause the electric parking brake to activate unexpectedly while driving. The recall involves models from 2021 to 23, and Ford is recalling some Escape and Super Duty models for a separate instrument panel issue. Tempur Sealy, the mattress company, says it has identified a cybersecurity event that happened last week. The company says it's still working to determine whether any personal information was involved. Shares of trucking company Yellow are trading under $1. The company shut down operations over the weekend, and the Teamsters Union says it was notified Yellow plans to file for bankruptcy. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Short-term market fluctuations can be unnerving for everyone. A proven way to tune out the noise and focus on long-term investment goals is to adhere to a well-constructed investment plan. This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. If you don't have a plan in place, we can help create one designed specifically for you. Call us today for a complimentary consultation at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, or registered investment advisor.
Illini family, this is Josh Whitman. Illinois football is coming off its best season in more than a decade, which makes this the perfect time for you to join us at Memorial Stadium. Single game tickets are now on sale with special preseason prices. From now until August 7th, tickets will be the lowest you'll see all season long, and that is our family first promise. Don't miss out on big games like Penn State, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Get your tickets at fightingillini.com before August 7th. ILL.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Yes, it is 7:23 ESPN 93.5. So they had a big Lincoln Day dinner in Iowa.
Okay.
They had that over the weekend, and a whole bunch of people, candidates. Will Hurd, whoever he is running for president, got booed off the stage.
Uh-oh.
Because he was talking about how bad Trump was.
Okay.
And that's just not real smart, because in Iowa, he's winning everything by a lot. So here's kind of a montage of some of the candidates. I like the Vivek Ramaswamy. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tim Scott. I like a whole bunch of them. Trump was there. So here's a little from what happened Saturday night in the great state of Iowa.
The radical left, they want to defund and
Tim
demonize
Scott.
and demoralize the police. It's our responsibility to refund and rebuild local law enforcement. We must restore dignity and respect.
The radical left, they want to defund and
Vivek Ramaswamy. He's just the smartest.
I am running for president to start leading us to something, to our vision of what it means to be an American today.
Pre-COVID,
Nikki Haley.
67% of our 8th graders were not proficient in reading or math. Think about that. Then you have a month ago, it came out that over 80% are not proficient in history or civics.
But I stand before you today as a candidate for president because I think this country's in a lot of trouble. Americans are facing one man-made crisis after another.
Mike Pence.
And that man's name is Joe Biden. Joe Biden has weakened America at home and abroad in 2.5 short years.
I appointed over 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. And last year, those justices, and you know exactly what they did, they ruled to end Roe v. Wade, and now pro-lifers have a tremendous power to negotiate.
And now our friend Griff Jenkins.
Frontrunner Trump has a commanding lead, no other way to put it, in South Carolina and Iowa. He has yet to commit to taking the GOP stage in the first debate that'll be right here on Fox. Trump, DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Scott, Haley, and Christie, noticeably absent former Vice President Mike Pence. And back-of-the-pack candidates like Miami's mayor says there's plenty of time left. Now let's get to Fox Business's latest polling. Haley is in second place behind Trump in the Palmetto State, but it's a 34-point gap, 48 to 14%. DeSantis in third at 13%. Tim Scott rounding out the top 4 at 10%.
So you've got Trump just ahead. And so how many convictions, how many indictments, what's it going to take? It's like how many radio guys does it take to screw in a light bulb? How many indictments does it take to finally get rid of Donald Trump? And if Donald Trump said, I'm not running, would all of it go away? I think it would. I think if he said, okay, he's not going to do that. But I just think there's one purpose here, and that's to keep him from running. And he's running, and he's winning, and they don't want him in there. And whether I still do not believe with any fiber of my body that Joe Biden will be the candidate. Devin Archer, nobody knows his name, but the close associate to Hunter Biden is testifying at 8 a.m. Central Time this morning in front of a very sparse Congress because everybody's on recess. So it'll go on the record, and you'll probably see some clips. This is the inside guy right next to Hunter in the whole thing. He's sitting there when you're calling the big guy with these countries on the phone. So this is a very critical. And so all of a sudden over the weekend, the Justice Department told Devin Archer, the best friend of Hunter Biden, you know that sentence we were delaying, you're supposed to report for prison Tuesday. I forgot to tell you. So
wow.
Things kind of happen. And so anyway, it's amazing too. All the Hunter and Joe Biden stuff from last week, all of a sudden another indictment coming for Donald Trump. We had to move the headlines. So that's interesting timing for all that stuff as well. So I have the one thing for sure is you can't predict what the heck's going to happen. You really have no idea. There's so much that can go on with the court stuff with Donald Trump. And there's so much going on with Hunter Biden. The powers that be behind the curtain, I don't think want Joe Biden to run. And then who would have next? Is it Gavin Newsom? Is it J.B. Pritzker? Who's the guy? And then what do you do with Robert Kennedy Jr.? Such a gnat causing so much problems. He's a Kennedy. And he's, in my opinion, the old line Democrat whose views on a lot of things are too liberal for me, but talking common sense and feels like talking the truth. So they dismiss him by being whacked out, not really a Kennedy, really kind of crazy, and don't listen. He's a denier. He's a misinformation. He kick him off social media, all that stuff. And yet he's saying things we're all kind of cocking our heads going, yeah, that's what I thought. I think that's right. That's what I think. And it's a remarkable campaign for RFK Jr. But he doesn't get a chance to debate. They don't let incumbents debate. But the bottom line is this. Joe Biden isn't fit to run, in my opinion. And I don't believe he'll be the candidate. I have no idea who will take over. It makes sense. Gavin Newsom, he's slick. He looks good. You have to fact check him in every breath. But other than that, he says some things going, oh, that kind of makes sense. No, it's not true. Oh, it's that thing. So we got a long way to go. And Iowa was interesting, but Donald Trump at this point, I don't know, can you go to jail and still be president? I think you can. I think the Constitution allows a guy to be convicted and still be president.
Wow.
The bottom line is, if you do whatever you did to Trump, you can do whatever you want to anybody. And that's what he keeps saying. If they can get me, they can get you. Because who is the guy, the whistleblower that I had some clips? He went to Israel. They're trying to extradite him. And he went to him and had all this dirt, and then they called him an arms dealer? What? He said, I never sold a bullet in my life. And they called him an arms dealer. Now, listen, if you have critical information, who would you tell? It'd be like, because it's one of those bad movies.
Right.
Who's the good guy here? Mm-hmm. Who do we trust? And losing faith in the institutions is really, really bad, because what do you trust? And if we don't trust in what we have trusted in, we got problems. All right, news and weather coming up. You can always text in or reach us at 217-359-2255. It appears we are on Facebook Live. Also, the YouTube channel. I have no idea how we're on Facebook because I couldn't get us back on. Young Kyle Tosca. So
That's right.
No idea how we're back on Facebook Live and how long we'll be on Facebook Live. Because clearly they have reined us in with whatever I say they don't like. So we'll be right back to 217-359-2255, where it is now 7:30 in Champaign-Urbana.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. An employee at Donald Trump's Florida estate accused of trying to have subpoenaed surveillance video erased has his first court appearance today.
The superseding indictment from last week added Mar-a-Lago property manager Carlos de Oliveira as a defendant, whom the DOJ says conspired with the former president to hide the requested footage.
Fox's Colonel Scott. The House Oversight Committee hears today from the president's son, Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devin Archer.
A Wall Street Journal report suggests he'll say Joe Biden was not substantially involved in Hunter's business deals, but he is expected by some to say that the elder Biden did participate in dozens of phone calls. Devin Archer has his own legal challenges, including felony convictions for fraud. And over the weekend, prosecutors asked a judge to schedule the start of his prison sentence.
Fox's Doug Luzader. It's a 1-year prison sentence that's been delayed by appeals. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. I'm Joe Miller. People at an Urbana apartment complex speaking out after they said they've had no air conditioning in their homes for several months. Two tenants at Rainbow View Apartments say it's more like 80 degrees inside. They want to remain anonymous but wanted their voices to be heard. Both women said there's other tenants dealing with the same problem. Part of Kirby Avenue in Champaign at a standstill after the pavement buckled under the extreme heat. The bucking happened just west of Mayfair Drive Friday. City officials say due to the availability of concrete, the work might not start until today. Westbound lanes closed until those repairs are complete. New audit of the Illinois Department of Employment Security finds the state lost over $5 billion to fraudulent unemployment claims during the first 2 years of the pandemic. The audit found the state was foregoing certain security checks to ensure that people were getting their benefits, a strategy that states across the country implemented. And that's a look at what's happening on your Monday. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Thank you, Jim. We want to check weather this morning, brought to you by Carl.
Carl reminds you back-to-school physicals and sports coming up this fall. If you needed a location near you, just visit carl.org.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois. Champaign-Urbana this Saturday. Quiet and eventful spell of weather ahead for this week across the area. A couple of weather systems passing primarily to the west and south will keep us on the easier side of temperature, humidity levels, and just a couple of hit and miss random chances at some rainfall coming off some good coverage moisture over the past several days. No sign of returning to the heat and or humidity across the area as we open up the new month of August. Matter of fact, increasingly cooler and wetter appearing to be the operative weather words for East Central Illinois and much of the Corn Belt at large. Sunshine, 83 today, light northeast wind, clear, comfy tonight, 59. Nice one tomorrow, sun-filled, seasonal highs at 84 on a light east wind. Increasing clouds tomorrow night, low down to 62. Partly sunny, a little more humid as the day wears on Wednesday. Maybe a shower, thunderstorm in spots late morning, more so late in the afternoon, the high about 83. Couple of random showers and thunderstorms Thursday up to 87 with highs in the upper 80s Friday and Saturday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
It's Emily Atkins. She owns something called Happy Healing. Tell me about what you have planned coming up.
September 9th, we have our spiritual spa day. We have 3
wellness practitioners coming. We have Brenda, who does sound bowl healings with crystal bowls, Drea, who does facials, and we have Emily, who does massages. So we'll be selling tickets, and so you'll have a half hour of each, and then I'll be there and we can make candles too. You can go to the website, happyhealing.us.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. All right, it is Monday. I am Stevie Jay. That's Diane Ducey, and we have apparently some sort of suggestion that the Fighting Illini take on a new mascot. Kingfisher. Kingfisher Task Force member Evan Lemberger. I believe we're closer than ever to establishing a new symbol of diversity and pride for the flagship campus of our state. Well, there's that. Anybody want to be a kingfisher?
Not really. It looks like a bird. I've never heard of it. Native to Illinois, and it looks like it could sort of have orange and blue feathers. So there's that.
Lauren Tate says, watch for the booze if a kingfisher ever walks on the sideline.
Right.
And again, you can go as deep as you want into the discussion about the Fighting Illini and Chief Illini Wick, because that was, the whole thing started. It's in the 80s? The whole protest was at 80s, 90s? It's been a long time. And the real problem that I would have with something like this is why Chief bad, Seminole good. Because the Seminoles at Florida State are riding in bareback on a horse with a flaming spear and doing the ho. That's fine. We stood at attention and yelled Chief.
Right.
And so we're racist and Florida State is not. Please explain. Well, the Seminoles are all for it. Okay, so what if we become the Fighting Seminoles? The North Fighting Seminoles. Well, they're not indigenous to those. There's no more Illini.
There's no more Illini.
There's no more Illini.
We can't.
But we could find
give some scholarship money.
I can find you tribes that would endorse us, and we could work toward the education of. And then you won't be able to host postseason tournaments in some of these minor sports, and it's a big deal. Volleyball gets a host and softball gets a host. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the NCAA in a teaching moment, because Florida State good, Illinois bad, doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm really, truly asking. It is hypocritical to say they're good, and the Atlanta Braves celebrated with the what the heck? Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the same. It's not equal mascotting under the law or whatever.
Right.
It's not equal. And so we're getting our brains beat in because we're so bad here. And it's not true. I think never will happen. Let the kids vote. Just vote.
Okay.
50,000 students. Yes or no on Chief Illini Wick. But they can't chance that. They can't do it. The only way for Chief Illini Wick to come back, and the NCAA would penalize a lot of our sports, is to have a different governor, and the governor appoints a board of trustees. You could do it through the power of the governor if you ever wanted the chief to come back. Otherwise, get ready for Halloween costumes that look like a bird.
Mm-hmm.
The kingfisher.
That's right.
I mean, there were a lot out there, but
a little bit of a big beak. When I look at the way this mascot looks, the bird does kind of have an angry scowl. The way they've drawn it up as a Fighting Illini mascot.
And I'm not suggesting that our administration is anti-chief. They're anti-commotion. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Go away. Because they'd have to. All I'm saying is the Chief's bad, so's the Seminole. Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Braves, I mean, they're professional teams. The Redskins got rid of Redskins. Commanders now.
Mm-hmm.
But, Kansas City Chiefs and all the racist chants they do. It's disgusting. And same Florida State. How can you have a flaming spear on a horseback? Come on. Mine was like, way to go, Chief. You look great. Yeah. And listen, you're not going to, and I know it just makes hair stand up on some backs when you hear Chief at the end of the, what used to be the dance. Folks, that's been 15, 20 years ago now.
Wow.
So it's still happening, and it will happen until everybody dies, okay? So eventually in 2080, you won't hear the Chief anymore. It's going to take a while. And I'm sure that the powers that be don't like it. It isn't that they're just anti-commotion, anti-protest. They don't want to talk about it.
From October 30th, 1926 to February 21st, 2007.
Yeah, so it's been
16, when we had Chief Illini.
16 weeks. I don't know, but my vote would be, forget it. We're the Fighting Illini. I don't need anybody else. I don't want a bird. I don't want to be a kingfisher. Sorry. Who says we have to have one? Are we losing sleep over a mascot? You want some guy with a big head running through and hitting themselves on the end zone? I don't care. I don't need anybody. I'm not going because there's no mascot.
Right.
I might say I'm not going because we didn't have the political backbone to stand up and say, if they have it, we have it. Because it's just not. Miles, whoever, was the former NCAA president and said, well, this is a teaching moment, not for the Seminoles. When you're powerful enough, have enough money, and you have enough tribe support, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not consistent with the theme of it's racist and it's bigoted and all those words. So just saying. All right, you can text us 217-359-2255. You can message us on Facebook. You can watch us on Facebook Live and YouTube. It's all there. Cardinals are active. They're going to continue to be active till the deadline tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe is the deadline.
When it comes to the trades, but Jordan Montgomery is out, right?
Yeah, he was here for a year and a half.
Okay.
And did pretty good, and he's a pretty good pitcher and did well for the second, but he'd been in St. Louis for a year. He got here after the trade deadline last year, and lefty starter, he was regarded as like the top guy left on the board as far as trade. Chris Stratton is a piece that a contender can use because he can get outs late. He's having a really good year as a reliever. Cardinals sent him to Texas for some minor league prospects. And then Jordan Hicks, it's very difficult to have a guy throw 104 miles an hour in baseball. And he's been up and down, as you know. He's just not been, he had injuries and all these other things. So you trade a 104 mile an hour arm to the Toronto Blue Jays, who are still on the hunt in the American League East, trying to fight, I believe, for a wild card at this point. I think Baltimore, Tampa, man. Yankees have a winning record in their last place. This is just crazy how good the American League East is. And meanwhile, the Milwaukee Brewers had the unfortunate schedule to play the Atlanta Braves, who are just dominant. Doesn't mean they can't be beat, but they're pretty dominant. They're really, really good. So they lost, I think, all the games this weekend. Cincinnati, what a Cinderella story for the former bench coach David Bell, the Cardinals, former bench coach, who's now just got a 3-year extension because he's such a good manager for Cincinnati, taking them from obscurity with a whole bunch of young guys that are Ellie De La Cruz. You got some young guys like that are just, he's a guy that stole home that everybody oohed and awed about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's the guy you're going to see tonight, Diane.
Yes, I'm going to check out the Chicago Cubs, and Andrew Abbott is due to pitch for the Reds and Marcus Stroman for the Cubs. That's a 7:05 start. You'll hear the action over on US 105.9. Cubs took a fall yesterday, 3-0, with the St. Louis Cardinals preventing a sweep. Let's get your Redbird recap.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney, and the Cardinals got on the board early. They scored 3 runs on 6 hits over the first 2 innings against a pitcher who had handcuffed them so many times, and the Cardinals beat Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs 3-0.
Hendricks came into the game 13-3 lifetime against the Cardinals, but they were able to get to him. They got to him early, a lot of hits. They were aggressive on the base paths, and Steven Matz was outstanding in his start, picking up his second win. Gallegos and Romero also pitched well.
The pitch count was getting up there for Matz, but he was able to give the Cardinals 6 innings, Gallegos 2 very good innings, and and JoJo Romero picked up save number 1.
They all battled a tough Cubs lineup that has been red hot.
The Cardinals will have a day off today and welcome in the Minnesota Twins tomorrow. The Twins will start Pablo Lopez. He's 5 up and 6 down. We'll be on the air at 5:50, and we'll have our first pitch at 6:45 as the Cardinals welcome in the Twins from the American League. It was the Cardinals 3-0 over the Cubs yesterday. The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
With his first Cup win this season, Chris Buescher is getting the checkered flag at the Richmond Raceway over the weekend. Illinois football season ticket sales up to 9,500, and they're feeling good about coming into some tickets. And I suggest you move on that before, I think it's August 5th, this week, to get the good deal on the pricing.
Well, when you can get season tickets for less than an IMAX movie theater experience, I mean, if you have $99 deals in the Horseshoe for, what is it, 7 home games?
Right.
Yeah, the cost on that's, if you want to go, and I think college football, the atmosphere there is like none other. It is just fun, energy, and you know what? Pretty good football team. We'll see what's going to happen here. Luke Altmaier's our supposed starter from Mississippi. He's the quarterback that'll try and replace Tommy DeVito, who had a really good year. And it's going. And then, you know, last year was special. It really, really was. We went to January 1st Bowl in Tampa. All of a sudden, we're playing for a Big Ten potential championship. All we had to do is beat Michigan State or Purdue. It didn't happen. But it's kind of a process to go through. So we were really, really good out of the gate, 7-1, and then faltered late. And, you know, and then again, the bowl game, you know, without Chase Brown, Devin, I mean, you know, that's going to happen every year now. Guys with NFL aspirations and hopes, they're just not going to play in the bowl. How can they? Because they're millions of dollars.
Right.
You see, Devin Witherspoon got what? $30 million? The 5th pick in the draft, I think he got $30 million. And by the way, our kid from Muhammad, the pitcher, he was purportedly going to get $1.9 million out of high school at Muhammad Seymour. He went from a Bulldog to Kansas City Royal, and he got 2.8. But he's got $2.8 million. He's 18 years old.
I'm glad his mom is into finances.
The Blake Walters, his mom Angie's a terrific financial wealth manager, so that works real well. And I'm sure there's signing bonus, and he's going to, I think the 2.8 is kind of up front, and then you go make your minor league money, which is nothing. You know, $500 or $600 a week for 6 months. So it's not a lot of money, but the signing bonus can be the key. And when they invest in you and they have a guy that they give millions of dollars to, guess what? You get a lot of chances because you're going to make the scouts look bad.
Right.
So if you get money up front, if you don't get money, you're chasing the money because they're going to give the $1 million people a lot more of a chance before they say they were wrong. So there's that working for you. So anyway, there's a lot of money floating around. Now, it's very difficult to get there. Sounds easy. Just like coaching. If you want to be a coach and make a lot of money, doesn't Brett Bielema get $5 or $6 million this year? Oh, that's too. Well, then you go do it. Well, I know.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, it's a lot of time to get there. Brett's 4 now? It's just difficult. And he's had success. I mean, look what he did with Wisconsin. 3 Rose Bowl championships? 3? Dang. So, listen, we got a guy who knows what he's doing. If you go back and, except for John Malkovich, who had Jeff George, asterisk. I mean, Stevie Jay could go to a bowl with Jeff George. Back then, it was like, no, he was a good coach. John Malkovich. Other than that, I would challenge anyone to go find me a first 2 years of a head football coach at Illinois. First 2 years. I mean, Robert Zupke maybe. Was Ray Elliott 500 after 2 years in the Big Ten? Brett Bielema was 9-9 in the Big Ten. That just doesn't happen. And for that matter, Brett Underwood, the winningest coach in the Big Ten in the last 4 years, that's really hard to do. And here we have all our talent coming back for basketball, and we got Zach Edey to deal with at Purdue. What's the problem here? Can't go pro, Zach? You're 7'4", but he doesn't fit the pro game. Oh, and by the way, you go to the running backs aren't valued, right? Running backs aren't valued in the NFL. Where's the money? It's terrible. We're going to form our own union. Well, cry me a river. Where would Kofi Coburn have been in the 90s except Shaq? He'd have been a number one pick. Yeah. Kofi should sue somebody. Just sue, because the game changed. And it's not fair. They don't like big men anymore. They want Zach Edey, the same thing. He'd have been a number one pick in the 90s. But no. Now they got to be 6'12" and shoot the three. Crying out loud. Come on, people. All right, 217-359-2255, talking about Chief Illiniwek and the potential new mascot named Kingfisher.
Yes.
Which is a bird that's going to get booed mercilessly. Who wants to be the mascot of the Fighting Illini, dress as a bird and get just booed your brains out? This just won't work. Okay, so some 217 texter, Florida State, because I was saying it's not fair. If the Seminoles are good, Illinois can't be bad.
Right.
It's either or. Florida State pays millions to the Seminole tribe to retain rights. Mm-hmm. We have millions. We can do something like that. We don't want to deal with it.
We don't have any Illini that still exist.
Well, and you go down to Florida State. Let me just mention the culture there's a little different for football too, right? I mean, it's like, when you have professors flipping burgers, everybody's on the page. And in the SEC in the South, everybody's, football tonight. We have people in Illinois that not sure we play football.
That's right.
Is there a schedule? When do the Illini play? I mean, we don't know that. It's just different. It's just different here in the North. All right, it is 7:50. We'll check Greg's weather coming up.
Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items. As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
What we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, Urbana, Vicinity, and a pretty quiet, comfortable start to the week and rounding out this month of July and beginning part of August. No real extreme heat nor humidity, nor excessively wet weather on the maps and charts. Matter of fact, a short-term drying spell and drier spell. But as we get deeper into the new month of August, cooler days are ahead and wetter days are ahead as well. So no sign of reestablishing the heat wave weather pattern really anywhere across the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois included. Sunshine for the day today, light northeast wind, 83 this afternoon. Clear, comfortable tonight, 59. Sunny for the day tomorrow, seasonal, and 84 on a light east wind. Clouds gather tomorrow night, low down at 62. Partly sunny, there may be a stray shower thunderstorm cropping up late morning and afternoon on Wednesday. A little more humidity in the air, the high at about 83. A couple of showers and thunderstorms Thursday at 87. Upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. Low to mid 80s for the weekend. A chance for a shower on Sunday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
You spend half of your life indoors. That's half of your life underneath your roof. Who do you trust to keep you safe and dry underneath it? The name to remember is Roof Doctors. Roof Doctors understands the harsh weather conditions that your roof endures because they're a family and locally owned business. From your community, for your community, the doctors who make the house calls, Roof Doctors, at roofdoctors.com or phone 328-7529. Rest easy under a roof that's been treated by Roof Doctors.
Hey, Class A CDL drivers. Gail Frericks Trucking wants to invite you to join our team and get a taste of what it's like to work with a team that cares about you, your home time, and your professional growth, as well as your paycheck. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt inviting you to join us as we continue building the company you would have started if you knew then what you know now. Gail Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. Our drivers are pre-dispatched, make a guaranteed minimum gross pay of $1,200 per week, have paid vacations and benefits, and are home every weekend and sometimes during the week for quality family time. Our openings are limited, so don't miss your opportunity with the top-paying trucking company in the area, Gale Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. The days are getting longer, and our customers are booking us up with freight. Gale Frericks Trucking, 765-793-7131, or email timo@gftlog.com.
All right, by the way, we were talking about the Iowa Lincoln Day dinner that they had, and you know, how many indictments does it take to thwart Donald Trump? As many as they need to, I guess. But 217 texter, if Trump is convicted and sent to prison but then elected, could he be a man that can pardon himself?
Oh, wow.
If you're elected and you're in jail, or would the swearing in be like in cell block 4? How would that work? So then you're president. Can you pardon yourself? I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
217 texter, the Kingfisher would not be a new mascot. We've never had a mascot. Yeah, ours is a symbol. Now
Right.
that's a point of contention for the left. They call it a mascot. We call it a symbol.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. You can look up Webster's what they have to say about that.
Okay.
Those words are just a continued disrespect for the symbol. That's whether you're a Chief fan or not. I think most are. I think most people, and again, that's why I would never go to a student vote, because they can't risk that. And it's the Board of Trustees call, and it's the administration call, and they're not going to put it up for a vote if they're just not going to allow it. And again, the NCAA comes with penalties. But again, I simply say it's not consistent, and it doesn't appear to be fair. And it just, you can't have gambling banned here and gambling here. Is it legal, good, bad? What is it? So that's why it's very confusing. You know, lottery good, gambling bad. What? What's the difference? Right?
Right.
I mean, you can't just have all these rainbows and go play the Illinois lottery. It's good. You're going to be rich. Illinois betting, bad. Ban it. It's gambling.
You're right.
It's just gambling. And I understand the moving parts of betting on a supposed student-athlete sport, which to me is a little bit funny because they're not student athletes anymore. You can call them what you want, but it's a free agency deal now that people are saying is getting out of hand. Maybe it's already out of hand. But I don't think I thought the intent was name, image, and likeness for all that. I thought they were like, name on my jersey. Woohoo! Somebody bought it. I get $12. Woohoo! Well, now you're getting $1 million deals. $1 million deals, people. Not here yet. But the Ohio States, Michigans, you know, the players, Georgia, Alabama, their guys are getting 7 figures, 8 figures. I mean, not 8, 7.
Ugh.
And so it's just how it
and
rolls.
how young are these athletes?
Well, they're 17, 18, and they're getting recruited now in 8th grade. The athletes are when you're 13, 14, and you think you're growing a mustache and it's really light hair, that's when you're getting recruited. That's when they're coming after you. And then who do you talk to? Your best friend who kind of wants in on it, and his best friend who you owe? It's just a nightmare.
Right.
And then, of course, it's the street guy who's going to be there, and then the aunt who's really been big in your life, and, of course, the parents. And if they're not available, then they'll resurface because there's some money to be had. It's just a mess. It isn't inherently good to play, particularly the immature people that are just kind of passing through puberty. I mean, imagine. Where would you be if somebody handed you a lot of money at that age? There'd be all kinds of influence. You got to do this, you got to do that. Come on, man, I was your best friend. Good luck.
I'm worried about getting a note passed to me. Will you go with me to the dance? Check yes or no.
Yeah, I'll pay you. Right?
Exactly.
I got cash. I'm not old enough to drive, but we can buy a car.
Right.
It's what we have, and it's kind of what we're gonna have because that's how we're rolling now. But what a change! I mean, you got into coaching because you wanted to inspire kids and help them build a winning culture, and now you got to have a finance department.
Right?
You're not supposed to be part of all that. I understand, but let's be real about it. It's the guy that was the baseball coach at Northwestern was Jacob Hurdenby's coach at Army.
Oh, really?
And Jacob said it had 0 problems with him.
Okay.
But keep in mind, it's a different time. If you put woke in everything, What is it about yelling at you, telling you're an awful shortstop? Is that allowed anymore? You're a really bad athlete. I don't know why I recruited you. Is that too mean and hazing-like because you embarrassed me in front of the team? I don't know.
Jim Foster was his name.
Yeah, Jim Foster. I don't know what is acceptable because coaches, have the tendency to be really, really mean to you. And maybe there's now allowed for a defensive tackle to just go by the tackle sled and sit for a while they get a safe space to recover from the yelling. I don't know. I'm not even joking. I just think right now what's allowed anymore and what's acceptable anymore is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches have the ability to make you feel really crummy because they're trying to motivate your butt to get you in gear because you're not pushing hard, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different world, and what used to be ain't the same. 217-359-2255. That's Diane Ducey. I'm Stevie Jay. We're going to break for the news. Glad you're listening. Monday, last day of July.
Right.
Wow, where'd the time go? We'll be in the 8th month tomorrow. We'll be right back. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
He's the second Trump staffer caught up in the classified documents case. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The property manager at the Trump Mar-a-Lago, Florida resort will go to court today to face a conspiracy obstruction charge. Fox's Evan Brown explains why.
A superseding indictment filed before the weekend alleges Carlos de Oliveira attempted to delete surveillance recordings and lied to investigators about moving the now infamous boxes containing classified documents at a storage room on the property. That updated indictment includes new charges of obstruction levied against the former president.
Trump lawyer Lena Haba tells Fox News Sunday,
if President Trump didn't want something turned over, I assure you that is something that could have been done, but he never would act like that. He is the most ethical American I know.
Next hour, a Hunter Biden business associate will talk to lawmakers in private, and Congressman James Comer tells Fox he wants Devin Archer to
tell the truth. He has an opportunity to be a hero, like the two whistleblowers were, like the judge in Delaware was who rejected the sweetheart plea deal from the Department of Justice to Hunter Biden.
Comer, a Republican, chairs the House Oversight Committee leading the investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings, and if the president was involved, he claims he's not. Republican Senator Rand Paul has sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department for Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was a Trump and Biden COVID advisor, over COVID's origins and whether or not the virus leaked out of a Chinese lab. Paul claims he now has documents from February 2020 proving Fauci lied under oath at a hearing, denying the U.S. funded the lab, doing so-called gain-of-function research, enhancing that virus.
He's saying privately, well, yes, we're suspicious that this virus could have come from the lab because they're doing gain-of-function research. And he describes the project that I had described to him a year later, which he said, oh, there's nothing to see here.
Now, Dr. Fauci has denied lying and believes COVID may have spread naturally from animal to human. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Well, a Trump staffer gets ready to make a court appearance today, charged along with the former president in the classified documents case. The bills pile up. The Save America Political Action Committee supporting the former president has reportedly spent $40 million in legal fees and plans to set up a separate legal defense fund. Former President Trump calls all this election interference. And since he is the 2024 Republican frontrunner, his rivals in the race are sick of dealing with this issue. Nikki Haley tells CBS Face the Nation.
Well, none of us want to be talking about
indictments. I don't even know if it's the third, fourth, or fifth indictment right now, but what I can tell you is it's a distraction. And frankly, the media is talking about it nonstop. But when I do these town halls, the American public is not talking to me about that.
Another Trump rival was very critical of the former president at a candidates event Friday in Iowa.
Former Texas Congressman Will Hurd is well back in the Republican presidential pack, but received boos when he said former President Trump was running, quote, to stay out of prison. On NBC's Meet the Press, Hurd said he knew people wouldn't like that.
What I didn't expect was there were a lot of people that actually clapped, and then there were more people that just sat there politely and probably understand and knew what I was saying was the truth.
The former president maintains his innocence. As for Hurd, the comment has not been enough yet to draw more support and get him on the debate stage next month on Fox. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The heat wave's over in much of the Midwest and East Coast, but other areas are still roasting.
More than 70 million Americans from the southern plains to the southeast are under some type of heat alert through at least today. Places like Dallas, New Orleans, and Oklahoma City will have those feels-like temps in the triple digits all week long.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer, one of the biggest trucking companies, Yellow, has stopped shipping, shutting down, preparing for bankruptcy after years of financial trouble. On Wall Street, stock futures are rising modestly before this week's trading. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. I'm Joe Miller. City of Champaign sponsoring National Night Out across the city next month. Tuesday, August 1st, 5 neighborhood-based National Night Out events will take place between the hours of 4 p. 7 p. Several registered neighborhood groups have submitted applications for the city's neighborhood small grant to host an engagement event in honor of the event. Illinois Department of Transportation announcing applications for the Safe Routes to School program now being accepted. The Safe Routes to School helps to support projects that make walking, biking, and rolling to school a safe option for students. Illinois Secretary of State launching a Skip the Line program at certain DMVs September 1. Customers able to make appointments for in-person visits at 44 of the busiest DMVs for those seeking real ID, driver's license, and ID card services, and in-car driving test programs designed to improve customer service, eliminating the unpredictability of wait times at Illinois DMVs. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, thank you, Jim Miller. We appreciate you very much. ESPN 93.5. Mr. Greg Soye, our weatherman, as good a meteorologist as there is, man. That's all there is to it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's I appreciate those words, sir. Very kind words.
Reading the clouds well, sir. You know all about the quadrants and things that Diane and I learned briefly in weather climate class.
Oh, give yourselves a little more credit than that. Come on.
Well, it was an 8 a.m. class, and I enjoyed looking around seeing people catching flies because it was.
You mean early nap time? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. And I was actually at the time doing Illinois play-by-play. And so
that's a quick turnaround for you. Then
I would go home on the weekends and do Illinois play-by-play. So we were in Ann Arbor, and it was the game where Tony Eason and the Fighting Illini and Mike White. We got off to a really quick start. This is right after we fired Gary Moeller and brought in Mike White. And
I remember those names, by the way.
Bo Schembechler was the head coach, and we fired his guy. So here's the game in Ann Arbor with 110,000 people, and we're winning 21-7. And then
what part of the game are we in here?
It's the second quarter. Second quarter up 21-7, and we drop a touchdown pass. It would have been 28-7. Anyway, so then things started going the other way, and the final was 63-21.
Oops.
Yeah. So they scored, a million points in a row, and then during that broadcast, it was so slow and so rough because we were so disappointed. I just all of a sudden said, "Do you know what color a tongue of a giraffe is?" It's actually purple, lavender.
Okay.
So I'm sitting.
Where did you learn that?
I was actually at the Memphis Zoo with my mom many years ago and saw the giraffe's tongue. I never forgot it. And it was very, very valuable in that broadcast. But the weather climate professor at 8 a.m. in one of those classes said, "Does anybody know the color of a giraffe's tongue?" Because he heard me.
You perked up.
He heard me. He heard me, and I perked up and wanted to learn about the quadrants. Good teaching.
Yes.
But he had heard me on the radio, and it was so funny because I'm going, he knew I did that, but he didn't know that I was going to talk about giraffe's tongue. It was 63-21. No, you know what? I think it was 70-21. because it was 63-21, and Bo Schembechler threw a bomb. Touchdown, 60 yards. Just to rub it.
I was going to say that sort of rubs it in your face.
Yeah, don't ever fire my guy again.
My goodness.
That's why it's Michigan, and that's why it's Illinois, and that's why outside the academic worlds, we really want to beat them every sport, every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Greg Solier, our meteorologist. So
we're just a couple of 2 or 3 weeks away from the let's see, about maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks away from the first game, right?
September 2.
September 2.
Yeah, so Labor Day weekend.
6:30.
And they'll be putting on the pads here in a week and a half or so. So pretty amazing. Football season is upon us. And speaking of which, we had this brutal heat, and boy, I'm glad I don't live in Phoenix, Arizona. 30 days over 110 or something.
Yeah, and that's the first time a major metropolitan city has experienced, probably will go down for the month of July, an average high temperature that was above 100 degrees. That's something for Phoenix, I'll tell you.
Some heat. So here we got moderating temperatures.
Yeah, 71 now.
Yeah, very nice. 61 when I left here this morning. So
yeah, that's a testimony to the drier air as we had talked about moving on in. And the old hot ridge is retrograded again for now back into the west and southwestern states. Last check, Sky Harbor Airport was about 84, 85 degrees already. Their dew points were at 67. That's kind of the stuff we experienced here. So no wonder they're going to be off to the races with finally some monsoon moisture there. And for the upcoming football practice and football season, hey, July, I should say August almost upon us. Not looking terribly hot from a outdoor work and practice standpoint. There's a cooling trend here on the maps and charts and a wetter trend as well. As Diane pointed out, 71 now. Later on today, forecast high temperature very comfortable at 83 degrees. We'll bottom out at 59 tonight. 84 tomorrow, 83 on Wednesday, Thursday. Couple of random scattered showers and thunderstorms over parts of the area. We'll feel the humidity on Thursday at 87. Into the 80s still for Friday and Saturday. Quick shower on Sunday. And then back into some cooler weather for early next week. But as we get deeper into August, wetter as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it very much. It is ESPN 93.5, the Transportation Secretary of the United States of America, former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, home of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Pete Buttigieg will be in town this morning with Senator Dick Durbin, Congresswoman Budzinski. News conference at Savoy, highlighting a $22.6 million grant made possible by President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law to help remove a railroad crossing. Is that the one that's going to be at Curtis Road?
Curtis Road.
Remember the Curtis Road has to go across Neal, and it's always a long wait.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and dig a hole and go underneath like they do at Neal and Windsor.
Oh, wow.
That's going to take a minute to do that one.
Right.
Is that part of that?
Help removing a railroad crossing that causes significant delays for people trying to get to and from school, work, and other necessities.
Because I've been at that, when the train comes through there, it backs up. There's no doubt. Well, anyway, if you have an underpass, that would be awesome.
Right.
So good for Savoy. And we'll take the 22.4. Heck yeah, but how much is that going to cost? More than that, isn't it? And then how would you even start that? With a backhoe? There's a lot involved when the train goes over, right?
Yeah.
To build that structure got some civil engineer work coming up.
I guess so.
Be a lot of things. Anyway, that's anybody remember Jeff Marklin? Does anybody know who Jeff Marklin is?
No.
Jeff Marklin. I'm not even going to tell you.
Okay.
Is anybody listening old enough to know who Jeff Marklin was? He died. Who was Jeff Marklin? I'm just going to let that sit. I refuse. I refuse to tell you. If somebody doesn't text in who Jeff Marklin is, you're just not going to know. 217-359-2255. Does anybody listening in our vast audience remember the name Jeff Marklin and who he was? I guess I'm going back to the 80s. Okay, we'll just sit here and let that ferment.
Well, and this news conference with Secretary Buttigieg and Senator Durbin and Congresswoman Budzinski will head to the University of Illinois for a fireside chat with students and community and members about future transportation infrastructures and good-paying jobs that are created, as well as this administration continues to invest in America. So, just putting it out there that's happening.
Didn't take
Mayor
long.
of Urbana has been
Republican. Can you imagine a Republican mayor in Urbana?
Wow.
Jeff Markland, the reason I brought it up, Jeff Markland made Windsor Road. He did that.
Okay.
He was the man that bridged Champaign and Urbana with Windsor. It was huge.
Yes, it was.
Imagine going down Kirby for the rest of your life and all the stoplights without Windsor Road.
Right. It's a great kind of throughway.
He was
on the southern end.
He was a cool dude, ponytail. I mean, he had it going on. I really liked him. I used to interview him, and
his mom was a painter.
Maybe he lived in Urbana. Anyway, I remember one time some new council member was sitting there, and it was just so confusing. Jeff Markland said, "Tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you what you should say for voting, yay or nay. Tell me what you want to do. I'll tell you how to vote." But he was really cool. He was a really cool guy. He had a great voice, by the way. He had a very deep voice. And I'm saying ponytail, that was later in life. But when he was mayor, he was suit and coat and the whole thing. But he was the last Republican mayor in the city of Urbana. And and for Urbana to ever have a Republican mayor, would somebody tap me on the shoulder if that ever happens again? Because I don't think that'll ever. And isn't it supposed to be like nonpartisan or something anymore? But he was a Republican, and he made Windsor Road happen. If you didn't know that, Jeff Markland's a name. That was the guy that got that all done, and that's been absolutely gigantic. So now we're going to have kind of another throughway. If you want to go a little further south and just take Curtis Road eventually. I think that's a great move, and it'd be really cool, but no idea how they're going to dig that hole and get that done.
Right.
All right, let's check your sports headlines. Cardinals salvaged final game against the hot Chicago Cubs. Now Cubs have their mind on Cincinnati tonight, but in St. Louis, at least the Cardinals got one.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney, and the Cardinals got on the board early. They scored 3 runs on 6 hits over the first 2 innings against a pitcher who had handcuffed them so many times, and the Cardinals beat Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs 3-0.
Hendricks came into the game 13-3 lifetime against the Cardinals, but they were able to get to him. They got to him early, a lot of hits. They were aggressive on the base paths, and Steven Matz was outstanding in his start, picking up his second win. Gallegos and Romero also pitched well.
The pitch count was getting up there for Matz, but he was able to give the Cardinals 6 innings, Gallegos 2 very good innings, and JoJo Romero picked up save number 1.
They all battled a tough Cubs lineup that has been red hot.
The Cardinals will have a day off today and welcome in the Minnesota Twins tomorrow. The Twins will start Pablo Lopez. He's 5 up and 6 down. We'll be on the air at 5:50, and we'll have our first pitch at 6:45 as the Cardinals welcome in the Twins from the American League. It was the Cardinals 3-0 over the Cubs yesterday.
I don't know, because the crossing
it's
at
so
Curtis
close to Neal Street.
Well, it's very close, and then
that's right at Applebee's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Across the street from, is that Applebee's?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you can't bend the tracks and move them a little further to the east, can you? I don't know how they're going to do it.
Or do they start the descent in a tunnel underneath and then...
I presume it all looked like Neal Street when it's done. And then you got flooding issues. You got to make sure it doesn't flood every time. I believe they have people that are really, really smart.
Right, and that might be why you should go see Pete Buttigieg today at 11 in Savoy, Stevie, and you can raise your hand and ask your question in the back of the room there.
I'm sure he would...
or be part of the fireside chat on the U of I campus.
Exactly. Anyway, I mean, it's amazing ascent to power. He was mayor of a town the size of Champaign, and now he's he ran for president.
Right.
But how do you go from a mayor of South Bend, Indiana, to running for president? Frank Finan should run for president, right? I mean, that's the step.
I mean, Senator Barack Obama was a community organizer.
Well, he was a state senator, at least. He was at least state senator. Then he was a national federal. He was a Senate guy in Illinois. He won Senate, and then he ran for president.
I mean, and that was all very quick turnaround for him.
He worked a whole 144 days. Right. What are you talking about? I remember I interviewed him back in 2004, and I said he'd spoken at the Democratic National Convention. Everybody,
I mean, he's a great speaker.
Yeah, and so I said, Senator, they're talking about you running for president. You just got elected. I'm just trying to find the bathroom around here. That's what he said. So my line is he found the bathroom, ran for president, and won.
And won.
Okay. Saving is a step to building a stronger future. Whether establishing a college fund, saving for retirement, or building an emergency fund, Busey encourages you to begin your path to savings today. Start by creating a budget. Track your spending with online budgeting system. They got all kinds of stuff at Busey.com. Money Manager through Busey Bank categorizes your spending. A little pie chart comes out and says food, housing, electricity, gas, all that stuff. You can set that up. The key is save. Boys and girls, do you know why you ought to save? This is my line here. Cash gives you options in your life.
Yes.
Cash gives you options in your life. There's nothing evil about money. It's evil to love money too much. That's your evil. But money can do great things.
Mm-hmm.
Busey eBank, Busey mobile app. You manage finances, track spending anytime, anywhere with the touch of an ID. Login, mobile chat, customer support. It's all there. So if you are interested in learning more about getting the savings thing going, I just save $100 a month if you can.
Yep.
Just something, but don't go get it. Get started on your savings goals today with the innovative products and services at Busey. You can go to Busey.com. You can spend a whole day on that website.
Mm-hmm.
Busey.com, more resources. So stop by one of their many convenient locations today. Member FDIC.
Talking about that with Aiden yesterday, getting some money for his birthday and saving that.
Yeah, hold on to it because no matter what you have, Shad Khan, a billionaire, 12 billion, whatever he is, he could spend it in a day. Whatever you save, you can spend it in a day. You can spend everything you have in a day. A day. So
yep.
We'll be right back. 217-359-2255. Tapman's Towing phone line. You want to check in? We'll be right back. 820.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The PCE price index, an inflation reading closely watched by the Federal Reserve, rose 0.2% in June. For the year ending in June, the increase is 3%. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, rose 4.1%. The improvement was better than expected, though still not near the Federal Reserve's goal of 2%. Also, Americans were making more and spending more in June. Personal incomes rose 0.3%. Spending increased 0.5%. Intel shares are rallying. The chipmaker's quarter was better than predicted, and it's seeing demand for its artificial intelligence products. Procter & Gamble's earnings were upbeat. It was able to raise prices, and it's continuing to see brand loyalty. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
New from the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Dana Perino, co-host of The Five and co-anchor of America's Newsroom. Join me for Season 3 of my limited time podcast, Everything Will Be Okay. I'll chat with guests who have had major career or life pivots and people who have persevered and are leaving a trail of inspiration for all of us to follow. Of course, we'll have some laughs along the way. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts. I'm Dana Perino, and everything will be okay.
Former Channel 3M intern Dana Perino.
Yes.
Worked in Springfield with the late, great Molly Hall. I
That's
can't believe
right.
Molly passed away. It's unbelievable. Okay, 22. Talking about a lot of things here today. You're welcome to join in 217-359-2255. I remember one time I called former Mayor Jerry Swihart. Everybody remembers Jerry because I used to call him and just get him to say thank you very much in his Elvis voice.
Yes.
Because he kind of sounded like Elvis.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much. So anyway, I called him one morning on the show, and the Champaign City Council had spent 2 hours and 15 minutes on cats.
What do you discuss for 2 hours and 15 minutes about cats?
You know, other cats getting in other yards and things like that, and feral cats. And 2 hours and 15 minutes. You know what I told the mayor? I said, Jerry, you got to quit. You can't. It was just live on the air. I said, you got to quit. You can't talk about cats. There's no way. If I were mayor, I'd say, cats, yours, it's your fault. Animal control for the feral cats, you call them. Next issue.
Yeah.
Your cat, your responsibility. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Maybe that's why the public statement needs to be around 3 minutes now for when you do a report or come to a meeting and they have public input. They'd like you to have a prepared statement that's 3 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And I've gotten the old vaudeville hook at Unit 7 because it used to be I didn't really know what I was doing as the Unity Music Booster president. So I was talking about the history of music in Unit 7.
Well, they probably did say thank you very much for that incredible comprehensive
Well, I wanted
statement.
them to know about our tradition of music in Unit 7 and how inspirational it's been to so many people, and how this is something we need to keep in our schools.
A time for the lady is ended. Thank you.
And they're like, okay, wrap it up. Giving her the wrap-up sign. Okay, thanks, Diane.
Hey, over the weekend, Friday night into Saturday, we had some pretty big storms in Philo, where we are now based, and it just knocked the heck out of us.
I didn't realize it.
I didn't either.
I mean, I was at the concert for the Brothers Osborne and Matt Stell on Friday night, and just, went sound asleep because you're sweating so much and tired and all that.
Well, it was whatever happened over Philo. It went off the air, and Philo, Illinois was off the air this is Ameren now. They got a lot of trucks and a lot of people. They were out of power for 8 hours. And it doesn't sound like a long time, but it is when you have battery backups and those are gone, and our generator didn't have oil in it.
Oh, man.
Just checked it.
I see.
So something went on with our generator, because we do have a generator at the studio. And so that caused the battery backups to lose their charge, which caused everything. It was an absolute mess. So I apologize. We missed the Cub and Cardinal game on both stations
on Saturday.
We had 900 things to do to even figure it out, but we had the backups for the backups that didn't back up. It was just one of those deals when you're into technology and wires. Sometimes that doesn't work. So anyway, we apologize. I know that a lot of people texted in and wanted to know where the game. We got everything back by yesterday, but man, it's just. You're at the mercy of the weather and lightning strikes. When you are out there, they say don't go out with lightning. We got a 400-foot tower or three.
Right.
Sticking in the air, and when lightning hits, it hits.
And we're just coming out of that heat wave, and those little, essentially a tiny little shed that's hosting all of this equipment.
Yeah, it gets real hot.
That gets so hot.
Well, then we had 100-mile-an-hour line winds. We had a hurricane in Champaign County. And so all of those things, just think of, you get in your basement and you're safe and secure and you got insurance for everything, all that. Well, if you have radio stations, it's like, well, we'll see what happens.
Right.
Because we don't know if the tower is going to end up in Iowa, because that can happen for tornadoes and everything around here.
Right,
so
right.
We're dealing with a lot of equipment.
And I appreciate when listeners do text that they're listening and they don't hear us or things like that, to give me a heads up personally if I'm not at the station. People do text our text line. But, so thanks for that, for getting involved and having us, respond by texting our technical people then to get on it.
It's just one of those. We have a bunch of Devin and Brian.
I know.
Rob. We have a good bunch of people that are real smart, but when you have essentially 50 plus connections, 100 plus connections, there's a lot to check.
And then you have to reset a lot of the software and technology.
I learned how to change a battery pack in a computer. That was a new thing for me. Anyway, we were working all weekend on it, and it really was all weekend. So we are here. We're glad you're there. We really appreciate you. You can catch us on social media, on Facebook Live and the YouTube channel. We're on both, at least till further notice, which could be tomorrow. And everything, all of our guests appear on the Tapman's Towing phone line. So we have the Cardinals. If you're not brief, the Cardinals have traded 3 people. There's probably more to come today.
Jordan Montgomery was talked about.
Yeah, Jordan Montgomery, but it's Cardinals have to have pitching, and we traded 3 pitchers. So they must have some AAA guys that are ready to jump up. Tink Hence, T-I-N-K.
Okay.
Tink Hence is a really, really good young pitcher, but he's only in Springfield, Missouri. That's AA. So I don't think he is, unless they're going to give him a shot to jump up at a very young age. Perhaps Tink Hence is a huge name that's been bandied around as a pitcher. I thought the Jordan Hicks, who was ultimately traded last night to Toronto, and the names that we got for him, you wouldn't know. They're AA, single A. They're young, so it's one of those future things. And we could not come. We tried to extend Jordan Hicks, the fireballer reliever who pitched very well in the last couple of months, and the deal didn't get done. So however much he wanted, however much the Cardinals wanted to pay him, wasn't happening, so they traded him. And then Jordan Montgomery, Chris Stratton are free agents as of 2 months from now. So if you don't think you're going to use them anyway, why don't you get some chips? And the chips come in the form of minor leaguers, and that's what the Cardinals have done. The Cubs apparently are standing pat. No action from the Cubs in any trade rumors I've heard there. Biggest move was Max Scherzer from the Mets to the Texas Rangers. The Rangers really want to beat Houston. Does anybody root for Houston? I cannot get over that. I mean, they didn't even have to go through their booing tour because of COVID.
It used to be when I spent most of the 90s in Louisiana that was the team that most Louisianans root for because that's the closest town is Houston.
Well, and the Astros...
Louisiana doesn't have a Major League ball team, even though so many Major League players come from Louisiana because it's a warm state.
Yeah, right. Well, the Houston Astros used to play in the same division as the Cubs and the Cardinals. Used to be the same division. So that whole thing with Houston and all the things they did to know what pitch that was coming from the pitcher, banging on garbage cans, and then Jose Altuve had something under his shirt one time, so I don't know what was going on with that. So anyway, so it was
little
like
shock collars,
something to tell you what's coming, which is such a cheat because everybody's so good. Imagine a major league hitter knowing it's a fastball.
Yeah.
Good night.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. So anyway, we'll see what happens with more trades. I expect that, but good news for the Cubs because no Marcus Stroman trade, no Cody Bellinger, because those are the guys really spurring on the Cubs, and the Cubs are totally in it. They are totally in it. Now they got to strap it on. They can't have a letdown out after the Cubs, but it could not have been better for the Chicago Cubs this weekend. It could not have been any better. I guess they could have swept, but that what they did to the Cardinals on Thursday night was a Thursday night. I think it was
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Well, the one that they took away, the game was over. It was a home run. And I'll be darned if the center fielder for the Cubs didn't reach into the stands and catch it.
Yeah.
That was stunning. It was an amazing catch. But it's perfect. If this rivalry doesn't get any better, Cub fans, doesn't get any better than that.
And now we've got the Red 705, and I'll be at Wrigley to see Marcus Stroman on the mound.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Big game. Should be a full house because the Cubs are totally in this thing.
So I was planning on not being here tomorrow.
Yeah,
Is that
well,
still okay,
that's all good. No, you have fun. You just have a blast.
Thank you.
8:30, we'll be right back.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. A property manager at former President Trump's estate in Florida, now a co-defendant in a federal criminal case, appears in court today.
A superseding indictment alleges Carlos de Oliveira attempted to delete surveillance recordings and lied to investigators about moving the now infamous boxes containing classified documents at a storage room on the property.
Fox's Evan Brown. Sentencing is today for an Idaho woman who killed her two youngest children.
Lori Vallow Daybell, the so-called doomsday mom, faces up to life in prison when she's sentenced for the deaths of her son, J.J. Vallow, and her daughter, Tylee Ryan, as well as conspiring to murder her husband, Chad Daybell's former wife, Tammy Daybell.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Chad Daybell's charged with all three murders. Hundreds of people are attending funerals for victims of yesterday's suicide bombing in Pakistan. At least 54 people were killed in an election rally for a pro-Taliban cleric. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. I'm Jim Miller. Illinois Secretary of State launching a Skip the Line program at certain DMVs September 1st. Customers are required to make appointments for in-person visits at 44 of the busiest DMVs for those seeking real ID, driver's license, and ID card services, and in-car driving tests. Authorities identifying the deceased driver of a stolen car involved in a crash that also killed two Paxton teens last month in Vermilion County. The coroner says Moises Concepcion Roman slammed into the victim's car on State Route 49 in Rankin. Concepcion Roman, 19-year-old Joseph Stallone, and 17-year-old Keegan Martinic all died in that crash, police investigating. Public squirrel hunting opportunities available starting this week. Hunting begins August 1st, runs through September 15. The IDNR has leased more than 4,400 acres of private land for this year's squirrel hunting, creating more than 30 public access squirrel sites in 18 counties. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign, and Van Ness. Saturday, quiet and eventful spell of weather ahead for this week across the area. A couple of weather systems passing primarily to the west and south will keep us on the easier side of temperature, humidity levels, and just a couple of hit and miss random chances at some rainfall coming off some good coverage moisture over the past several days. No sign of returning to the heat and nor humidity across the area as we open up the new month of August. Matter of fact, increasingly cooler and wetter appearing to be the operative weather words for East Central Illinois and much of the Corn Belt at large. Sunshine, 83 today, light northeast wind, clear comfy tonight, 59. Nice one tomorrow, sun-filled, seasonal highs at 84 on a light east wind. Increasing clouds tomorrow night, low down to 62. Partly sunny, a little more humid as the day wears on Wednesday. Maybe a shower, thunderstorm in spots late morning, more so late in the afternoon, the high about 83. A couple of random showers and thunderstorms Thursday up to 87 with highs in the upper 80s Friday and Saturday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm Peter Olshes, Greg Solgay.
You know, Diane is like Roger Ebert, man. You've been to all the movies. I mean, I can't believe you've seen Mission Impossible.
I did.
You've seen Barbie.
No.
I thought you saw Barbie.
No,
okay.
I saw
Oppenheimer. You went to
Indiana Jones.
Okay, Indiana Jones. But you went to Oppenheimer over Barbie?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it was longer too, 3 hours.
And what was it? Good?
I liked it.
Okay.
And you just really feel for the guy because, you know, obviously wanted to beat Hitler and all that, but you know, there's all this politics going on in his world and assembling all these scientists together, and with McCarthy and all the, you know, Russian stuff,
all the Soviet Union, your communist.
So much political pressure, and even if you have friends and you're on college campuses, so they're gonna be a little more liberal and a little more free with your ideas. And, you know, there was some crisis in the classroom, and you can't, you know, write anything on the chalkboard about a meeting or whatever. And then you're favoring the Communist Party if you do such and such. And even if he's friends with people, I mean, I just so much pressure on that guy.
Well, man. Yeah. And he knew that, you know, you're going to end the war,
right?
But you know the humanity of all of that.
That was also part of the discussion. You're giving them a weapon. You know they're going to use it at some point if it's not right now.
Right? No question about it. It changed everything. But you know, ultimately, I think we've talked about it last week that you know Japan just wasn't surrendering. They just weren't going to. And so the projection was we'd lose 1 million boys going door to door in Tokyo, and President Truman, who'd taken over for Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who died in office, President Truman said, we're going to bomb, with the new atomic bomb, we're going to bomb Japan every week. And so Hiroshima, they didn't surrender. Nagasaki, where I was 4 or 5 years ago, I got to go to the ground zero where the bomb actually landed.
Right.
That's where we were at the museum. Mm-hmm. And the only thing, you understand all of it, but when you see, it's got like a 9/11 museum, when you see what's in there, and you know, these are just people.
Yeah.
And it's war is hell, and you pray you never, ever, ever do that again. You just don't want to do that to people. But governments, you know, get land hungry and power hungry, and there's no doubt in my mind we wouldn't have what we have without our military. And we got to make sure that, you know, because bad people, look what's happened with Joe Biden, who's just not been a great leader, in my opinion, because the encroachment on everything with the mess with Russia now and Ukraine. And then you got, you know, Taiwan fearing China and all these things, the aggressive nature of it. If you don't, people will come take us. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I know it.
It's just that's human history. People come and take stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's because of the military we've defended ourselves, and we've had such incredible technology and all of those incredible things. But it isn't a given that we have what we have. It isn't a given. And what's most discouraging probably about our culture here now is there's so many people that are anti-American within our American culture, using our laws and using some of our traditions and institutions against us. Mm-hmm. And it's very demoralizing to think that there's a voice inside. I mean, you're talking about the communists and the search for communism and people that didn't like America. It was all patriotism. Right. We'd just come out of World War II. We were victorious in World War II, which set up the next 50 to 100 years of pretty darn luxurious living.
Right.
Because of those boys from World War II, the Omaha Beach surge, and all those things that happened on D-Day, June 6, 1944. So you've got so many historic events that you better appreciate and understand that stuff can go away. And it can happen very, very quickly. You can descend into chaos. I mean, look at the south side of Chicago. Isn't that not chaos? I mean, do you have a law and order up there? Not really. The gangs kind of controlling things. Yep. Police think, I've talked to several Chicago police officers, that's never coming back.
Right.
So you're dealing with a war zone in parts of Inglewood and some of these other places. If you're not part of something, you better not be there.
That's right.
It is
you get caught in the crossfire, essentially.
And then you get shot, and then there's retribution, and they come back because you killed their guy. They're going to kill your guy, and that never stops. So it's we got a lot of issues here in our country right now, and probably the biggest one is the contentiousness of which we treat each other, and the fact that we really can't talk about the normal things we used to talk about because you'll scream at each other, or you're just a bigoted homophobe hater,
right?
And you're just that and this and that, and most of the.
And I'd rather just not say anything and try to be politically correct and not stir the pot.
We've also kind of weaponized some of our institutions. I mean, some parents have been caused domestic terror because they're raising hell at the, excuse my language, they're raising heck at these school board meetings. Mm-hmm. There's passion in your child, and you're trying to get something done, and all of a sudden you're being labeled, and you get it. So the Department of Justice and all these institutions that we know and trust, and J. Edgar Hoover is the head of the FBI, all these things now can be turned on you, and you're afraid, and you don't want to cause trouble, but I think it's bubbling so much to a tipping point that people are saying whatever because you can't allow all this. There's so much lack of common sense. There's just a lack of common sense, and no longer can you disagree. You must agree with their point of view, and not only agree, but you must endorse. You must bless whatever they're doing or whatever they're doing and going about it, and that's just not what we do. We just agree to disagree in this country. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty sad. 217 texter, Chicago is the Mogadishu of the Midwest. That's very sad. All right, 217-359-2255. You like to jump on the program, you're welcome to text us. It's 20 before 9 o'clock on the last day of July. What do you got to do? Stuff is due on the 1st. A month from now, I got to remind you your second part of your property tax will be due.
I know it. We're starting to do a little nest eggging now after that wedding we had last month. Trying to recoup some funds. Oh, boy.
All right. Yeah, I get it. 20 till. By now, you've all heard the expression, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 for PDR Automotive. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. But who are they? They, the PDR staff, understand that a name is only as good as the people that represent it. The PDR staff has more than 335 years of combined automotive experience. Several employees now on staff for more than 25 years. PDR, more than just a name. Family owned and operated, now celebrating over 50 years in business.
Experience food, drinks, and fun at the grand reopening of Champaign's favorite sports bar, Pia's. Whether you're up for their famous Slugger Burger, never-ending nachos, having a drink with your friends, or watching your favorite sports team, Pia's has you covered. After the forced renovation undergone on the local pub, it's the perfect time to celebrate a return to normal and bring the community together. Don't miss the grand reopening at Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
When you're looking for a business to work with, you choose someone local, someone who's terrific at what they do, a company that helps others in need in Champaign-Urbana, and a company that stands behind what they do. That company is Roof Doctors. Roof Doctors has been keeping the rain out for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy and their family work hard to not only make sure you're 100% satisfied by their work, but that they also strive to have a positive impact on Champaign-Urbana. Roof Doctors in Urbana, they make you their number one priority.
Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items. As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com.
Pepsi-Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling is getting summer started with some fresh new products. Take a break from the sun and get a taste of cool, crisp, refreshing, starry lemon lime flavored soda. Stay hydrated with Gatorade's new Fast Twitch energy drink and get your daily source of vitamin A and C with Gatorade Fit. Find your afternoon pick-me-up with Starbucks Caramel and White Chocolate Mocha Frappuccino mini cans. Order these delicious beverages and everything else with Pepsi-Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling Company. Visit PepsiColaCU.com.
Hey, all you backyard chefs and barbecue gurus, barbecue season is here, and I know that you're anxious to fire up that smoker or grill, but your yard needs mowed. Yes, your wife is getting hangry, but that grass isn't going to cut itself. What's an aspiring pitmaster going to do? Get the world's fastest mower, a Dixie chopper from Dedicated Diesel in Urbana. They carry a full line of Dixie choppers from the Z2 and beautiful Eagle residential models up to the big Excalibur and classic commercial machines that can mow nearly 8 acres an hour. Get your Dixie chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. This is award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt, and whether I'm cooking low and slow or hot and fast, I always have time to savor the flavor because my mowing time is cut down by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower. Get your Dixie chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. 217-328-0562.
Yep, we're a month away from Illinois football, and we have Toledo, a perennial powerhouse in the MAC.
With the 6:30 game on September 2nd, and football tickets are selling well. 9,500 new season ticket holders.
That's really a lot.
They're happy. I mean, it's been a while.
We got to welcome the kids back with a big crowd. Maybe we can get to 30 or 40, 40,000.
And with it being a 6:30 game on September 2nd, is that a Saturday?
That's Saturday.
Night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have several Fridays, I think.
Yeah.
Friday nights. I think we had Kansas. Isn't that the next week?
Kansas is on the 9th, and that's a 6:30 game, but it's at Kansas.
Yeah, I think obviously, we just don't know. Luke Altmaier is projected to be the starting quarterback.
And he went to a camp, right?
He went to Peyton, and he was a counselor at Eli and Peyton Manning's quarterback camp. So Brett Bielema had commented that he's just really taken over some leadership. He got a feel of kind of more of a leader, which is huge. I mean, we need a leader, and I think he's got several years of eligibility.
Right.
So we're hoping that it's going to be Luke Altmaier as a solid guy. He was a high recruit, went to Mississippi, wanted to play for Ole Miss, didn't work out, didn't get enough playing time, so he transferred to Illinois. So here's hoping he can be Tommy DeVito and even maybe better.
Well, and on September 16th, the Saturday game against Penn State, that'll be an 11 a.m. start. And then looking at some of the other games, Florida Atlantic, Saturday the 23rd. We haven't had a game time tapped for that. But when we're at Purdue on September 30th, a Saturday, that's either 2:30 or 6:30.
Yeah, depending on where everybody is. I think Toledo will be a very competitive game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Kansas, I think it's going to be hard to win. I think they got everybody back on offense, and they're pretty good.
The first Friday night game will be October 6th against Nebraska at 7 o'clock. And then the next will be at Maryland, 11 a.m. on October 14th. Our homecoming game is against Wisconsin. And here we have Jim
Leonard. Yeah,
that should be interesting.
He's kind of an advisor for us this year. And Brett Bielema, of course, he went up to Wisconsin. And I'll be sure to crack out the Ben Ross, the guy that railed on how bad Illinois was before we went and beat them 34-10. We got to pull that out of the files.
Right.
But anyway, they'll come in with Luke Fickell, and he's a pretty good coach.
The Wisconsin game is 11 a.m. or 3 o'clock, and that's, again, the homecoming action on
Penn State's 11.
October 21st.
Penn State's going to be top 10 team.
Right.
I wonder why they wouldn't be a... Anyway, we'll just go for the Illini, see if we can beat Toledo.
One at a time.
Yep, one at a time, and then go from there. But we've got a super strong front seven on defense and question marks in the defensive backfield on defense. And then who replaces Chase? And again, the quarterback situation. But our offensive line, won't we graduate like every one of them next year? I think we lose. I think it's a real veteran offensive line for Illinois, meaning that running backs, at this level, they're not going to be chased probably, but they're going to be good if the hole is there.
Right.
Well, we'll see. And can you protect the quarterback? All that good things. So if you have a strong offensive line, that's a big deal. It really is in the trenches. Cardinals finally beat the Cubs. Cubs got 3 out of 4 in St. Louis and clearly in this race. Cardinals are selling. They've traded 3 players, Jordan Montgomery, Chris Stratton, and Jordan Hicks are no longer wearing birds on the bat. And I got to think Paul DeYoung is probably going. I would think there's a real shot at Jack Flaherty will be out, and so will maybe Dylan Carlson. So some names that will probably go for prospects. That's what they're doing now, because if you got guys like Jack Flaherty is going to be a free agent after this year, and I'm not sure the Cardinals want to sign him. I think they're probably ready to let him go, and they're trying to get something for him in the last 2 months. For
That's
a team
right.
that really needs another pitcher.
Yeah.
All right, it's 8:49. We'll check Greg's weather one more time. I enjoy hearing Emily talk about Happy Healing and that September 9 event. It's Emily Atkins. She owns something called Happy Healing. Tell me about what you have planned coming up.
September 9th, we have our spiritual spa day. We have 3 wellness practitioners coming. We have Brenda, who does sound bowl healings with crystal bowls, Drea, who does facials, and we have Emily, who does massages. So we'll be selling tickets, and so you'll have a half hour of each, and then I'll be there and we can make candles too. You can go to the website, happyhealing.us.
Tapman's Towing is looking for you. If you want a career with a great local company, it's Tapman's Towing, paying top dollar for experience. If you have an excellent driving record, good oral and written communication skills, are willing to work hard and want to be paid top dollar, visit tapmanstowing.com. Tapman's is looking for CDL drivers, record drivers, and dispatchers. Work with a local company that rewards hard work. Tapman's Towing. Visit tapmanstowing.com to apply today.
Tapman's Towing. Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items. As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, Van Aves. Saturday and a pretty quiet, comfortable start to the week, and rounding out this month of July and beginning part of August. No real extreme heat nor humidity, nor excessively wet weather on the maps and charts. Matter of fact, a short-term drying spell and drier spell. But as we get deeper into the new month of August, cooler days are ahead and wetter days are ahead as well. So no sign of reestablishing the heat wave weather pattern really anywhere across the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois included. Sunshine for the day today, light northeast wind, 83 this afternoon. Clear, comfortable tonight, 59. Sunny for the day tomorrow, seasonal, and 84 on a light east wind. Clouds gather tomorrow night, low down at 62. Partly sunny, there may be a stray shower thunderstorm cropping up late morning and afternoon on Wednesday. A little more humidity in the air, the high at about 83. A couple of showers and thunderstorms Thursday at 87. Upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. Low to mid 80s for the weekend. A chance for a shower on Sunday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Yeah, it just feels so much better. And I asked Greg, half jokingly, but not really, this might be it. I mean, think about where we are. It's going to be August 1st tomorrow, and we might have experienced the hottest days of 2023 and be done. Possible it's not going to get what it was because the days are getting shorter now. I don't like that. I sure liked waking up when we wake up and it being light. And now we're losing it, starting to go away. Isn't that amazing how God made this earth and we tilt? And it spins at 1,200 miles an hour. We spin. The Earth is rotating at 1,200 miles an hour, and you're not dizzy. How does that work? It's amazing to me. And then that because the sun is so perfectly positioned that the Earth has to go back and forth. It tilts because summer solstice, winter solstice. The winter is when we're leaning back. Summer is when we're leaning forward. And depending on where you are in the hemisphere and all that stuff. But the reason they take, barges out to the equator is that's a point where you get most of the motion, the 1,200 miles an hour. You take advantage of the spin and the launch, and it gives you more momentum being there at the equator. It's just unbelievable science stuff. Yes, I know nothing, but I do know a few facts that I couldn't go very deep into, as you just heard. But it's unbelievable. So anyway, that might be it. We might not have this kind of heat again, which is good. But then you're going, how cold's it going to get? We're going to have a hard winter, all that stuff. All the guys that buy snow plows and get that for the front of their trucks and they don't use them.
That's right.
Because there can be some money made scooping snow now. Anyway, we're into fall's fun. It really is. Changing leaves and all the football and all the things going on. And then Curtis Orchard, our Stever for...
Yes.
I think we're going to blow that out here really soon this week.
Sounds good.
We're going to do a Stever where I give you gift certificates to go shop there. And who doesn't want apple cider when it gets in season?
And the donuts. It's just incredible.
You'll buy honey.
Yep.
There's like world-renowned honey made at Curtis Orchard.
It's gotten awards for, fantastic bees over there and so many hives. It's great to have the local honey with the local pollinators. And
they don't let any bad bees in there.
Exactly.
They interview all those bees and they say,
there you go.
You're not up to snuff.
You got the queen over here.
Get the heck out of my land. Get off the farm. But no, we'll have a Stever for Curtis Orchard this week. I'll hand you money to go there, and everybody loves Curtis Orchard. And this is a smidge early from the standpoint of their season. But boy, you get into September, October, you want to party, you go to Curtis Orchard.
That's right.
And they're just people.
I know it.
And animals and goats and cats.
That's right.
Yeah.
So many are interacting with those little kitties. And Dr. Todd helped with that, too. So he'll be part of the show tomorrow, too. Our animal pet pro on with us.
Diane's going to go report on the Cub-Red game. That's actually a big game. It'll be sold out tonight at Wrigley Field, so be careful up there.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay, go Cubs and enjoy the day.
Yeah, Cubs and Cardinals are off today, so you can watch the Cubs play the Reds and look for Ellie De La Cruz. They're kind of figuring him out early. He hasn't had a lot of hits since the All-Star break because they figured out through video how to keep him off the bases because he steals if he gets on. He's 6'5", interesting story, and pretty good guy. He used to play with my future son-in-law, Jacob Hurtubise, so you'll get to see Ellie De La Cruz. You can tell me about that on Wednesday. Thank you, Diane.
Enjoy the day.
That's Diane Ducey. I'm Stevie J. Thanks for listening. Meet you tomorrow. Have a great Monday.
Enjoy free yoga at Urbana Park District's Meadowbrook Park each Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. No experience needed. All are welcome. Bring comfortable clothes and your yoga mat or a towel. Instructors can modify the exercises to your experience level. Yoga is a great way to exercise and refresh the mind and soul. Make new friends or bring friends. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 at Meadowbrook Park. Learn more at urbanaparks.org.
This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. There's no one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is we can help you improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hi, this is Kirk Lehman with Aftershock Decals and Design, and right now we are looking for an honest, hardworking individual that wants a career with Aftershock Decals and Design. If you have any kind of experience wrapping vehicles, tinting windows, we want you.
You can't touch this.
No, not that kind of wrapper.
Can't touch this.
Please go to our website at aftershockdd.com, click on the Jobs tab, and send in your resume. We want you. aftershockdd.com.
Pepsi-Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling is getting summer started with some fresh new products. Take a break from the sun and get a taste of cool, crisp, refreshing, starry lemon-lime flavored soda. Stay hydrated with Gatorade's new Fast Twitch energy drink and get your daily source of vitamin A and C with Gatorade Fit. Find your afternoon pick-me-up with Starbucks Caramel and White Chocolate Mocha Frappuccino mini cans. Order these delicious beverages and everything else with Pepsi-Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling Company. Visit PepsiColaCU.com.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Whether your regular beauty counter has disappeared or you want a beauty refresh, then it's time to visit Merle Norman. Beautiful changes happen every day at Merle Norman. Whether you have a special event coming up or you're just in the mood for something new, you can depend on Merle Norman Cosmetics to satisfy all your beauty needs. From advanced skincare solutions to the latest looks and color, we're locally owned and ready to help you with expert guidance and award-winning products. No wonder we've been the go-to brand for millions of women since 1931. Visit us today at 706 West Market View Drive over by Subway.
As the summer temperatures rise, make sure your energy bills stay low. Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing to upgrade to a high-efficiency Lennox air conditioner. Dogtown offers financing, including 0% no interest for qualifying customers. And if you have rooms in your house that don't seem to stay cool, call and ask about the great rebates on the Daikin ductless mini splits. Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing at 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
The 5th annual Crystal Lake Park Art Fair is August 5th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in partnership with 40 North. Crystal Lake Park transforms into an art fair at the large pavilion near the lake house. Over 40 regional artists will have their works on display and for sale. It's a great chance for you to buy a holiday gift or give your place a new look. Support area art on August 5th at the Crystal Lake Park Art Fair. For details, visit urbanaparks.org.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items. As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.